Hey, babe. This is the 26th time I have said to you, happy birthday. Wow, that's insane. I mean, you know, all of us as parents, we, kind of go through all that stuff, and 26 times, it isn't like I can't remember them. It's not like you've had 56 times. I may not even be here for your 56. I don't know. But yeah, I remember. Let's see. So it would have been 28 minutes past midnight when the suffering you and Mom both endured came to an end. And yeah, you were with us. And a few days after that, we got to bring you home. And I remember I was laying on the bed and just had you here on my chest, and I had been, people who know me would say things like, "Oh, you're gonna be so emotional," and it's fine. And so Mom was in the bathroom, just right there in the house we were at the time. She was getting ready for bed, and I'm laying there with you, and I don't know what it was, but your tiny little head was just nestled right here, and I could feel a tear just kind of run down the side of my face and puddle in my ear. And yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. It was a weird time for me back then, and it took a while for me to get used to the fact that you were here with us. And but I do remember that first time I had you on the changing table, and I was not good at doing the changing thing. I tried, but this one time in particular, you were kicking your feet and stuff, and I was just like, oh, and you looked up at me and you smiled. And that's the first time that you'd smiled at me. I don't know how old you were. You weren't too many months old, but and I was hooked. And I've been hooked ever since. And I remember when we were in that house. I doubt that you'd remember this, but before we moved to Texas, I would pick you up and fly you down the stairs and around the living room and all that stuff, and we'd have music going on, and I'd throw you up in the air, and everybody was scared to death I was gonna drop you, and you would just giggle your ass off. And then we moved to Texas. Let's see, you would have been, how old would you have been? Let's see. About a year and a half-ish, a little bit more than that. And so anyway, long about that time, I had been calling you babe. And there's only one other person that has a term of endearment. I have never referred to anyone else by babe, nor will I. And there's only one other person that has that same honor. And with you, I slipped up. And I think you, Mom, and I had come home from church, and I had accidentally called Jenny babe. And you were like, hey, what was it? You said, you say, she sweetie, I'm babe. And I'm just like, ooh. And I never made that mistake ever again because it was very traumatic. But it was kind of cute. You were very, very accustomed to it. I don't even know how I got started calling you babe, but anyways, you are babe in my phone, and you will forever be babe to me. and no one else would be babe to me. Um, but yeah, it's and I remember when we were in Texas, you had outgrown your crib, and we were just, mom and I were just kind of matter of fact about, we had to figure out, what we were going to put you in, and do we do a toddler bed? And we ended up on a day, coming to a day bed situation. And I was like, okay, so I needed to go upstairs and get the tools and get your crib taken apart. And this was, I needed to get this done so that we could put you to bed that night. And, I'm getting everything taken apart, and it's a little bit of a complex thing. And I get it all pretty much done, and I'm there on my hands and knees on your floor in your bedroom. And I'm like, oh shit. I will never put her in this crib ever again. In fact, it just happened last night. I'm not gonna, and I didn't realize it until then. And I was wrecked. I was a mess. I mean, just lost it. And just, over the years, it's like every birthday you would have up until, you left the house, I would say to myself, I only have 18 more years, right? 17 more years, or I only have 16 more years. I only have 15 more years. I only have 14 more years. And it would be rough for me for a while. But I am grateful that even after all this time, you and I have what I consider to be a really good relationship. I'm grateful for it. I mean, not very many people are going to listen to me yammer on for, 7 minutes. In fact, most people have already checked out, which is fine. But yeah, I definitely miss having you here. But I also am glad you are building a life for yourself. You and Andy are going to be married here in about 7 months or so, and so that'll be new. And your professional lives are going well, and yeah, I'm happy for you. So it's definitely bittersweet, but mostly sweet. And I love the fact that we still have, our goofy and silly way of talking, and the words I've inherited from you, things like majiggy and KK, which annoys the shit out of some people when I talk like that. But it doesn't matter, because it's our thing. It's yours and my thing. And if people think I sound like a 12-year-old girl, I don't care. I do it because of you, not to impress or make somebody else happy. It's our thing. But well, I'm rambling. I can't believe I've yammered on for 8.5 minutes already, and I don't even really feel like I said much. But yeah, happy number 26. And it's nuts to me that it's 26. Anyway, but oh yeah, and I forgot, the one thing that we've always done is, ever since we would put you to bed at night, and you would be rocking in your bed getting ready to go to sleep, and you're almost always just super happy and always smiling. And I was generally the last one out of the room, and I'd stand there at the light switch at the door, and I'd say good night, and you'd say good night. I'd say love you. You'd say love you. And I'd take the light switch. I go bye bye, and you go bye bye. I love you, babe. Happy birthday.